All right, here we go. Actual episode number 2 of Driving with Joe or Bruce or whatever you call me. The reason I say actual is because I recorded an episode before and I said some things and I was like, I feel like people might not understand or take lightly what I said. Because I don't draw lines. I just sort of talk. And I don't feel like any words... I mean, I understand people take offense to certain words, which is why when I first meet people, I tend to see where their lines are, and then I go to their lines. I do my best not to cross their lines. But me, personally, when I'm by myself, I don't really draw any specific line for me to cross or not cross. But yeah, so this is actual episode 2. I cut my thumb. I went to the Renaissance Fair, and I got a new pocket knife, and it was dull. So I was trying to show people that it was dull, and it was less dull than I originally anticipated. So it's just just broke a little skin. It's not too bad. But anyway, episode 2. What are we going to talk about today? Whatever comes up in my mind. I hope this last like Tuesday or Wednesday or something, I was driving home, and I usually take the same way home every time, and a construction crew had blocked the way onto the highway and hadn't put up there's a detour, you can get on the highway, it's somewhere down this way. Which, I mean, honestly, all I did was I had to drive a little bit farther down. I didn't realize that yet, so I, set up my GPS and, had it give me directions home after I had passed the exit. And, getting onto the highway wasn't a problem. But the thing that really pissed me off, I guess what I'm going to talk about in every episode is something that pisses me off. But what really pisses me off, because it happens every time I drive by construction, is the workers, there's one guy digging a hole or setting up a light or doing whatever, and then there's 5 guys standing around doing nothing. And it's hey, guys, why don't y'all do your job, and maybe this hole would get dug faster, or this light pole would get built faster, or this sign would be put up faster. And then we wouldn't have to deal with people not being able to take their exit and not get home and add another, 5 or 10 minutes onto their commute home. It was 11:30. I was trying to get home. I was tired. Jeez. It's just do your job. That's another thing. At camp, we give out, after lunch, we hand out popsicles or ice cream, depending on the day and depending on what we get ordered. And I said granted a lot last episode. I guess that's my catchphrase. But granted, there it is. I will eat a popsicle or have an ice cream afterwards, depending on if they have a flavor that I like. If they don't have a flavor that I like, since I'm trying to watch my weight a little bit, I won't take it anymore. So, if there's a blue or purple popsicle left, I'll take one. Or if there's cookie dough ice cream, I'll take one. But otherwise, I hand them out to my kids. And that's that. But today, we get a box of popsicles. A single box. And that's not really... It might not even be enough. That one box might not have been enough on its own for all the campers that are in our group, especially because we got a bunch of new campers today. But then, staff members are popping popsicles in their mouths before they even pass them out to the kids. And the whole reason that we get the popsicles and the ice cream is to hand them out to the kids. Now, if some of your kids are misbehaving, maybe you took their ice cream away. That's one thing. Like, okay, you take enough for your group, but the one that you would be giving to that kid, you keep for yourself. But make sure every kid gets ice cream before you start eating them. Because I made sure all my kids had ice cream. And so I'm walking away. I had a couple extras. They weren't really flavors that I wanted, so I was walking back to the box to see if there was any more. I tip open the box is empty, and I'm like, okay, I guess everybody got their popsicles. These are just extras. And then I hear a voice call out from my side, "Hey, Mr. Joe, can I get one of those orange popsicles?" And I turn around, and there's a whole table of kids that didn't get popsicles. And there's a bunch of counselors and maintenance workers sitting around, not doing anything, eating popsicles. And first off, you're supposed to be sitting with your kids in the first place. You're not supposed to be socializing with other counselors. You can socialize with other counselors when the kids are in the pool, because that's the lifeguards' time to watch the kids. And we just sort of sit around and maybe help the lifeguards every once in a while. But for the most part, we just sort of sit there and let the lifeguards do their job. That's the time, if you want to talk to your other counselors and stuff, you can go talk to them. Not during lunch, when you're supposed to be sitting with your kids, and your kids are freaking throwing things and not getting food that you're supposed to be bringing them. And then, so that whole table didn't have popsicles, and I had maybe like 6 or 7 left, maybe enough for the table. And then 3 more tables are like, "Oh, are there extra popsicles? Can we get our popsicles now?" And I'm like, "Are you guys serious? Give the kids a freaking popsicle. You're eating like, I see 3 in your freaking pocket. You can't give 1 to a kid?" It's freaking pisses me off that people don't do their jobs. Anytime I see somebody not doing my jobs. I don't even like taking a break. I don't like taking breaks when I have jobs. When I worked at my factory job, my warehouse job, I didn't take lunch breaks. I took 2 lunch breaks in the 2.5 years that I worked there. When I'm at camp, I take my mandatory break because I have to take my break. And I usually cut my break short. When I worked at the Halloween store, I took my mandatory breaks, and that was it. And that was fine, because those breaks were like 10 minutes. Like, that makes sense. That's enough time for you to like go use the bathroom, you sit down for a little bit, you relax, you answer any text messages that you might have gotten, and then you're done. You know, every single job that I've had, I try to take as short a break as possible because these people are paying me. So, shouldn't I be doing work? Yeah, I should. Shouldn't all the employees be doing work? Yeah, they should. Why is everyone getting so lazy? If you have a job and people are giving you money to do that job, or if you volunteered for that job and they're not paying you, but you showed up because they're expecting you to work, then work and earn whatever it is that they're giving you, whether it's volunteer hours or a paycheck or, goodwill towards your God, whatever. Just do your jobs. It's not that hard, especially if they trained you to do it. We had a whole day of orientation for you to figure out how to do your freaking job, so do your freaking job. We go from 9 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon. That's what they're paying us for. At 3:30 in the afternoon, if you want to say fuck it and you want to stop doing your job, fine. They're not paying you after that point. Fine. All the kids are gone anyway. You can say fuck it and you can not do your job if you want to not pick up garbage after 3:30 in the morning because it's not your job. But it's freaking maintenance's job, so they should pick up the freaking garbage anyway. Freaking assholes. Not doing their goddamn jobs ever. All they do is socialize. It pisses me off. This is why I don't understand. You walk into a store and you see employees just like sitting there chatting with each other. And it's one thing if it's like not a busy day. That's fine. You know, you're working in the same section. You're like, oh, hey, you know, how's it going? How was your weekend? Whatever. But you're a camp counselor. You're assigned 13, 12, 11 kids, however many kids you have in your group. The rest of the time, when you have your small group, you make sure they're all there. You make sure everybody's okay. You make sure nobody needs to go to the nurse or anything like that. If it's lunchtime, you give them their freaking food. And then the rest of the time, when they're just all in a large group, whether they're like playing on the playground or doing sports or whatever, you make sure nobody's hurting each other, everybody's following the rules, everybody's having a good time. You see a kid crying or you see a kid fall over, you make sure they're okay, things like that. That's your job. And you get an assignment sheet at the beginning of the day that tells you what area you're supposed to be watching. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist. I don't understand, most of the sciences. I'm no good at chemistry. I'm decent in biology. Physics, fuck that shit. But if you get a piece of paper, and that piece of paper says, playground time, watch the tire swing, I think you can figure out what you're fucking supposed to do during playground time. You go and you stand next to the tire swing, and you look at the people on the tire swing, and maybe you push the kids on the tire swing so that they have extra fun. But even then, stay by the tire swing. I don't give a shit if your friend is 25, 30 feet away from you, watching the tetherball, or watching the other swing sets, or watching the sandbox. I don't give a shit. You go and you watch your spot. For fuck's sake. That's what they pay you for. If you're not going to do your job, you don't deserve your paycheck. And if you make someone else, like, I don't know, me, do your job for you, I should get a cut of your paycheck. Fuck it. That should be the new rule. If you make somebody else do your job for you, you don't get paid, the other person does. Because fuck you for not doing your job. Fuck you for not doing your job. Can you tell that this happened to me? Can you tell that this is a common experience for me? I just get so pissed off all the time. But now I feel so much better now that I'm talking to myself in my car. I used to see the therapist. I saw a therapist for a while. First I saw a social worker, and he was really cool. His name is Mitch. And he made me want to be a social worker, which is what I'm going to do with my life. And then I went to college. And in college, I went to the on-campus center for, clinical therapy or whatever the fuck they called it. I saw this woman. And she was so judgy of everything. And if your job is to talk to people, there we go, talking about jobs again. I'm going to call this episode Jobs. If your job is to talk to people and to listen to their problems, whether they share your beliefs or not, don't fucking judge them for their beliefs. Don't fucking, if I say, because this is what I would talk to her about. Because I have anxiety, which now I'm able to manage. But before, I would get high levels of anxiety. And my high levels of anxiety, after several weeks, would lead to a depressed state where I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get out of bed. I just felt terrible about everything. I didn't want to talk to anyone. So, and I would have panic attacks all the time. One of my big things that they figured out was I just wanted to please everyone. And it wasn't even just like the people around me. Like, the thing that I talked to her about that she judged me about was I was like, it's a lot of times I think to myself, I never got to know my mother's father and my mother's mother because they died while I was still young, and my mother's mother was dead before I was even born. So I often wonder, would they be proud of me? Would they be, when they're looking down on me, are they proud of me and things like that? And so I'm explaining this to this woman, and she goes, well, that doesn't matter because they're dead. And in my head, I'm just like, fuck you, lady. And so, but out loud, I'm not going to say that because I'm supposed to be talking to her about her problems. And so I say to her, well, I'm a Catholic. I believe, good people go to heaven. Well, I personally believe all people go to heaven, whether you're good or bad, which is part of the episode that I didn't release. But, I believe everyone goes to heaven. And, the bad people have to go down and they have to, I didn't say this to her. These are my beliefs. I believe everyone goes to heaven unless they've lived such a terrible life that they have to go down and live another one and have to, get it right the second time or the third time or however many times it's been. But so I'm explaining my religion to her and my beliefs and stuff, and she goes, well, none of that's real. And fuck you, lady. I believe in God. I believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. Those are my beliefs. Whether you believe it or not, you can be like, I don't share that faith, but it's a good thing to have some sort of faith or some sort of, try to spin it into a positive. To the kid who has fucking anxiety and bouts of depression, how about? You fucking asshole. That's your fucking job. God damn it. It just pisses me off. Like, how did that lady get a job? How did that lady get a job talking to people and trying to help them with their problems? Really? Like, fucking, what the fuck? Just, if you are gonna be like that, get a different job. Get a job in like an HR department where you can tell somebody, hey, stop being an asshole. Like, get a job where rules are set. Don't get a job where every day is an improv exercise of, ooh, I wonder who I'm talking to today. Because fuck you, lady. You can't do that. When I am doing clinical therapy, if that's what I end up doing, and a guy comes up to me and he talks about his beliefs, and he talks about, he believes that there is no God, and it's all a sham, and it's all science and all that. Which I'm not saying that I disbelieve science. That science is science. I'm not an idiot. But if he's like, yeah, I think religion's a big sham for people to make money and all that, which you're entitled to your beliefs. That's it. You're entitled to your beliefs. So I'm turning onto my street now. Didn't talk a lot about traffic. Didn't really hit too much traffic. Surprising. So yeah, I guess this episode was about jobs and how people who don't do their jobs right, or who don't do their jobs, period, piss me off. But I'm feeling a lot better now. And rehearsal went well. And I got to see my girlfriend. And I found out I was good at throwing knives. So, yeah, things are better now. Maybe tomorrow at work people will do their jobs. And it's not like everyone doesn't do their job. There's plenty of good people at work. I'm not legally allowed to say where I work. I can say it's a camp. But I signed a whole social media contract where you can't talk badly about it. So, I can't give you specific names. But, yeah, I'm turning into my driveway now. Here it is. Good old house. Good old parking spot next to the bush. Good old... I parked. I parked. Okay, so this has been episode 2 of Driving with Joe. So, see y'all next Monday. That's going to be when I put this out. It's going to be on Mondays. So I'll see you then. All right. Have a good week. Goodbye.